What's up? What's up? Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Let me first see if audio levels are correct. Let's see first on Twitch. It seems like audio is alright on Twitch. And Twitch doesn't have a big delay. That's nice. That's nice. Okay, now let's see how it is on YouTube. 1, 2, 3, microphone check. Okay, and we have it on YouTube as well. 66666. Okay. All right. So here we go. What's up, y'all? How are you doing this Sunday morning? I hope y'all doing all right. I'm doing all right myself. The weather is not too inviting to go outside, but not too bad. Actually, it's first time in Poland where we don't have like scorching hot summer since I don't remember when. It's the first time for a long time that I remember that we have constantly temperatures below 30 degrees. But I'm not complaining. It's alright with me. And how are y'all doing? So, what will be happening today on stream? Today on stream it will be more creating things for the game that I'm making that has a stupid code name Bow and Arrow, right? Maybe one day I will come up with a better name, but for now I don't have it, and it doesn't matter if, you know, the gameplay prototype sucks. It doesn't matter if it has the best name ever. It has to play well first, right? So right now I'm in the Toyboxing phase of it, which means I have some general bullet points of the ideas of what the game is supposed to be like. Now I'm treating the game as a giant toy box, and I'm adding gameplay elements, toys to play with in order to start building sequences. The aim is to create at least 45 minutes or maybe even an hour if I'm lucky of gameplay. Get 2 of my friends that declared that they will join stream as guests. Hear their feedback about the gameplay. It's supposed to look ugly. All of the visuals are supposed to be placeholder. I don't want to distract too much. And we will see if I will get the feedback of like, hey, it looks like shit, it's junky, but I had fun, then mission success. If the feedback will be, I had no fun at all, nothing was cool in there, I didn't know what I was supposed to do as a player, etc., then it means I failed and I have to go back to the drawing board, right? So, yeah, in this game, Bow and Arrow, the idea is that you're supposed to change the state of the world with your arrows, right? Kinda, you know, it's not, even though I'm using the FPS template in Unreal Engine 5 as a starting point to create dirty prototypes and blueprints only. The game probably won't be first person. It's not gonna be shooter, it's not about killing all the enemies, it's not about movement, it'll be a little bit puzzly, maybe co-op, maybe not, that's still I like co-op games, but I'm not sure if I want it to be co-op yet. I was sure before, but right now I'm not. And it's supposed to be more of a puzzly experience, like very arcadey goal of like, hey, collect couple of stars. And in order to unlock the way to shoot at star, because of course if I said that your main tool of interaction with the world is your arrow, also you collect the stars by shooting arrows, right? That's not what I wanted to play. Yeah, so I'm thinking about this type of interactions. Let me play it quickly. This is our bow that looks like a gun, but it's a bow, believe me. We can charge it or not charge it at all. It has some sort of crazy feedback. And the star is behind those wooden flammable logs. And here we have something that spawns bubbles. Well, if I shoot at my propeller, and I just realized this is an old ass propeller. This is not a new hotness. Come on. Because on last stream I basically fixed my problems with propeller. Now I have a propeller that is like way more understandable from the player's perspective of how to use it, because all the previous prototypes have been not up to snuff when it comes to understanding of what you should do as a player, right? The idea is that this propeller creates wind, and you have to rotate it in such a way that it will start pushing the bubbles that are carrying flame, and then I, as a player, can burst those bubbles. The flame goes out. We have some sort of dirty prototype of flame propagation, and it will unlock our way to the star, right? So that's what we was able to finally achieve correctly with the spawner, with the propeller here. And we can even see that it is not updating. Okay, for some reason. I need to fix one thing. Okay, so it creates those bubbles, and now I can just go, and the flame propagates. I need to increase the speed of flame propagation at some point. Boom, now I can collect the star, right? And the idea was, you know, this is just like one example of how I can use like free elements in my toy box to create a small sequence. How can I make it even more interesting? You know, put things at a specific distance, require players to change the difficulty of the challenge. Like right here, it already is, you know, working correctly. I can burst the bubble and unlock the star in here. I need to really make the flaming quicker, the propagation quicker, because it's just annoying right now. Then we have this one in here when I have to shoot at it like one time to unlock, you know, possibility of correctly targeting the flaming bubble, right? And then we have like 3 additional here that I need to support as well at different distances, right? The red cube is always, you know, rotating things 90 degrees. I didn't manage to shoot it. Now I managed to shoot it correctly. And, you know, I would be able to collect the stars in a second. Of course, audio is placeholder as well. Boom. Opened up. The same way here. Yeah, so now I see like, oh, okay, I have like 3 levels of degrees of difficulty. I can, of course, introduce how to use propeller way earlier, how those spawners are working, etc, etc, etc. Lots of stuff, you know, that can be introduced in a sequential order. Also, you know, in my toy box, I can show you it a little bit from a different perspective. Yeah, we have this type of flame propagation when we have a flame and it grows until it, boom, tries to, in a cartoony way, propagate further. On a non-flammable, it will die out. On flammable surface, it just grows until it is able to propagate further. And then it cannot propagate further. The flames are as big as is possible. Here's another test of how, you know, flame can propagate. It's all a little bit cartoony because probably I will have a cartoony vibe for the game. I have some idea for an art style. There will be a future stream and I will try to see if it can be even implemented. We'll see. Yeah, and we also have bubbles carrying water. So when we have like this sea of flames, we can create our own path that we can traverse. And like to create our own path through the sea of flames or flaming forest or whatever, right? And as I said, we had those propellers, etc. So I'm right now in this phase of creating toys for this toy box, so I could maybe create a sequence. Let me delete the old as propellers from here, and let's maybe, just as one of the things that I'm constantly saying that I should do and I never really do, is let me increase the speed of the flame propagation, and then we will move on to a couple of other things. Lately I had time to like sit down and write down a couple of ideas for what I could also add into the game. And one of two things that I want to do on today's stream, and if I'll manage to do them quicker, I will, you know, just do more, is reuse the idea of this rotating red block that I want to change into color blue, as in z-axis, because shooting at this cube means the propeller will rotate around z-axis 90 degrees with each shot, right? That's the idea. So how about if I train the player that if he sees this red, soon to be blue block, it means that it will always, and it is connected to something, it will always rotate the thing 90 degrees. That way I can teach the players the language of the game that, hey, this propeller always 90 degrees. There will be like a wall with the red, with the block attached to it, rotator block attached to it. You can shoot at it and it will rotate the whole wall 90 degrees on z-axis. And then I could create, of course, the x and y axis rotators, right? And put them in the level, so when the player will see that, they will be like, oh, I can rotate things, right? And that way I can always attach a rotator to a gameplay element of the world, so the player will always have a possibility to rotate it, and, you know, I can always provide the challenge of, hey, line these things up so they will produce the desirable effect, right? And different flavors of it. It seems like a cool idea on a visual design language side of things, that hey, whenever you see a cube of three colors, X, Y, and Z, red, green, and blue, it means that you can rotate things around with on a specific axis. Of course, you know, not everyone registers colors in the same way, so I would probably need to add some texture to it, that it's not just red, green, and blue. There will also be like a texture of it, or maybe the whole shape will be a little bit different. Maybe actually it should be a cone. You shoot at cone, and it points to the axis around. We'll see, but we'll be, you know, for sure iterating on this visual design language. It's more about like, hey, let's reuse that element on a couple of more things, which means I have to create a component out of this thing, right? Instead of it just being a part of the script for the wind propeller, right? I need to create a component which probably will have its own interface, etc., etc., right? So we will see how we'll go about that. And the other thing is I want to create also on the visual design language of some sorts, like a very simple element of gameplay, really simple, is that we would have like, I don't know even how to call it, like let's say double pane big ass window, right? And the idea is that in the first step, if you shoot at the blue solid window, let's say it will be solid, right? What will happen is actually the red part will become solid and the blue part right now becomes transparent and the arrows can actually go through here, right? But that only happens from some amount of time, right? The fuck that I just drew? I wanted it to be just a timer, right? Like for some amount of time the clock is ticking and after a while, you know, it goes back to the previous thing, right? So it will basically just what the hell? Yeah, so it basically will go back to this, right? What's the reasoning behind this? Well, first of all, when player first encounters that, it will be like an easy challenge. Like the star will be hidden behind the blue thingy. He'll be able to see it through the red thingy, but not able to hit it, right? So the player will shoot at the blue thingy. It will open up the door, the window of opportunity, so to speak, no pun intended, to collect the star. But this will only be like, you know, maybe first 3 times when you see that element of action, right? Because then I will be how to say it, putting those 2 windows not together. So the player will always see, if he sees the red window showing something, he will immediately be searching for the blue window to shoot at, right? Like, okay, whenever you see a red window in the level, it means that there's somewhere in the level a blue window that will be ripe with opportunity to unlock it, right? This, you know, element might need some tweaking and iterating on, but the idea is to teach the player that, hey, if you see one element, for sure search for the pair of it, the pairing of it in the level, because shooting at it will, you know, unlock the window of opportunity for them to, I don't know, shoot at something else, right? Or I might iterate on that so they are both actually non-transparent, but shooting the blue window always unlocks the red door or whatever, something like this, right? Basically, it's about teaching the player the language of like, hey, you see one element, search for the other one, because for sure behind the other one there will be interacting with the other one will unlock a window of opportunity for you, right? So that's what we will do today, and if we will manage to do it in, like, you know, with good timing, we will jump onto other things. Yeah, but first let me fix up this flaming speed, because it's kind of annoying that it is that slow. Do I have the variable for that? Propagation velocity, spline length per second. Let me increase it to like 2. Ah yeah, I don't have my preferred server is turned off, so I need to reconcile it later and submit it because I restarted my old ass Perverse server on a mini PC, Intel NUC, and created a backup there, right? Because I want to work with revision control, because that is great. What is not great is that Perverse has no streamer friendly interface, so it shows off like, you know, IP addresses, and it can dox your couple of things for you, and so I won't be able to stream using Perverse in that way, or at least until I figure out how to hide this shit. We'll see. Anyway, let me see if the flaming propagation is now faster, but let me see it maybe there. Also, I need to do one time a stream when because I'm constantly annoyed by a couple of things while working with the game. I want to do one stream when I'm just creating editor tools to help myself with things, right? Yeah, like for example, I want to move starting points. I don't want to just constantly be play from here, because I have a shortcut Alt P to start playing, right? And yeah, it would be cool to just be like, okay, right click, move the player start to this position and then Alt P. But for the time being, play from here. And I have a couple of other things that are kinda annoying. What the fuck? Is it faster? A bit, but still a little bit too slow. So let's adjust that to 3. Propagation velocity. And do I have the variable to make this die out faster? Position, propagation finished. Okay, find references by name. Okay, I don't use it at all. On propagation finished, okay. It's on timeline. It's on timeline. That's why I hate timelines, because I don't have the variable to steer the Curl Flame Trail Niagara set lifespan 3 seconds. Fuck that. 1 second. And the timeline after this 4 seconds. Nah, fuck that as well. Like 2 seconds, maybe top. So that it was in like time 3. So divided by 2. And that goes to like 2 seconds. And after adjusting, let's see how that's working out. Shall we? That's why I want to have this shortcut, because I'm constantly pressing the same buttons instead of going like play from here. That was a weird bug that I might have to fix at some point. Now it's faster, considerably faster, less annoying. I'm okay with that. And the other bug that I want to fix is the propeller is not rotating constantly, and I know exactly why. Because I'm relying on actor ticking to move things around, and after the rotation has been finished, I'm turning off the actor tick. Instead, I should be just having a variable that is named B should rotate. It should start as false, right? And if the arrow hit is confirmed, instead of setting tick enabled, I should set this as true. And when finished all rotations is happening, I should just set it to false. Quick fix. You know what also would be cool as a future stream? To like contract someone to do like a light QA on a build of the version, right? And then show you like the bugs repository and just like how to work with that, etc. And ticking it off and sending it off to be retested, because that's also like a big part of being a game developer. And since this is real game dev, I probably should do this at some point, contract someone out just to do that and show you how, you know, this side of communication works, etc, etc. But right now we are in, you know, like super dirty prototyping shit just to find out, you know, the elements that would allow us to create cool sequences in the game, right? That feel fine, and I will only be fixing the bugs that are like super annoying. Yes, so should rotate, and in the tick basically get should rotate, branch of it, put it like here, and only if should rotate is set to true it should rotate. It should always update Blade's cosmetic rotation, and because of that I should also switch in class defaults. Start with tick enabled. The thing that I would probably be doing in the C++ version of this game, because I'm not sure if that stuff is exposed to Blueprint. There is this system called, oh my god, Relevance Manager, I think. Am I misunderstanding this? Am I misremembering the name? Let me see. Unreal Engine, Relevance, Significance Manager. It is not really exposed to, let me show you quickly the documentation. It is not really exposed to blueprints. It is on C++ side of things, right? It is a plugin. And basically what it does is, for your actor, it gives you two functions: update significance, and getting significance, right? And why is it important? Because, and post significance update function, because you can create your own logic that dictates what criteria are deciding whether the actor is significant, and using that criteria you can turn off things in your actor. So for example, my actor doesn't need to tick every frame as soon as the level loads in, right? So I would probably create a logic where, depending on the distance to the actor, I will be turning on and off parts of the visualization. In this example, it would be Blade's cosmetic rotation, right? And it can be used to turn off dynamic materials. You can really use it in such a wonderful way that you can turn off lots and lots of processing in your actors based on the criteria that you need, right? That you want. So did it fix up? And once again I did that. Play from here. Yep, it is rotating constantly, but now I messed up rotation, so I have to fix that. Oh my god. Oh my god. How the hell did I do this? What is should rotate never really set? Because I'm doing that. Okay, I was checking still the old criteria whether the actor tick is enabled when I moved it to Boolean. Unreal pair. Hi Unreal pair. Hi, how are you doing? What's up? What's up? How are you doing this lovely Sunday morning? At least it is morning here in Poland. How are you doing? How are you doing? Unreal Per says, I'm okay, trying to get back to Unreal Engine 5. Oh, nice, nice. How long of a pause did you have from trying out Unreal Engine? Unreal Per says, I mean ill, but soon I go back. Okay, okay, I get it, I get it, I get it. I get it. What are you working on with Unreal Engine? And the pause you had is 1 month. Okay, okay. Not too bad, not too bad. Not that many things change in Unreal Engine in the meantime, so you know, no worries about that. And what are you working on, or what are you planning on working on with Unreal? Damn, it's getting hot in here. And at the beginning of the stream I was saying like, hey, it's not too hot in Poland this summer. It's getting hot. Unreal Per says, I'm doing a top-down shooter. Oh, nice, nice. Nice. Did they create like a new template for top-down shooters? I don't remember. They might have created a new template for top-down shooters in 5.6. So I recommend looking at it because they might have added something to help you. Unreal Per says, playing with 4 players. Oh, 4-player co-op, top-down shooter, nice. Is it gonna be a co-op or a player versus player type of situation? I need to create this tool. It might be happening next stream because I'm too annoyed. Okay, this rotating and this thing is fixed. Yep. I wonder why suddenly with rotations it's moving that way. Huh. Unreal Per says that his game is going to be co-op. Nice, nice. 4-player co-op. Top-down shooter. And how far along are you? Are you, you know, like just starting this game, or do you have already like some prototypes going on or something? Unreal Per says, can I ask you a question? Of course. Shoot away. Of course. I'm going to drink a ton of water and beverages on this stream. Or maybe it's just my apartment because it has southeast exposition, so for the most of the day I'm blasted with the sun. But it's okay, I like having my rooms well lit. Alright, so we have that. So should I go to like my funny ass windows that are solid or transparent depending on what happens, or should I go into moving this rotating cube into a general component instead of being just a part of this actor? Unreal Per asks, how did you do particle with movement? Particle with movement, do you mean... wait a second. Are you asking about the specific thing from this project? Like, for example, this bubble? Or what are you exactly asking about? Oh, you said that you got it. Okay, okay. But you're asking about how to do a particle that moves, right? Basically, at least the way I did it, is I don't really have... this bubble is not really a particle. This bubble is... let me quickly show you. I didn't have to turn off. Actually, this is so annoying. Play from here. Let me quickly rotate my propeller, and I messed up. Okay, so basically, oh my god, that's not what I wanted to click. That's what I wanted to click. Basically, these bubbles, I have like a bubble base actor, and it is just like an actor, and it is just a sphere that has a collision and a sphere attached to it with some material. And I just prototyped it in Blueprint, to be honest. It's not Niagara particle. The way it works is it on event tick, I am calculating the movement, and I have two types of movement. One is in the local z-axis, so it constantly moves up and down a little bit, and it kinda looks like that. I'm taking my current delta time, which is the time between two frames, taking my velocity in the z-axis, multiplying it by delta time. Then I have the boolean that decides whether the bubble will go up and down, and I'm just using the function add actor local offset to constantly add the offset in the z-axis to my actor from this calculation. And then I am saving my current time of traversal, because if I have a duration with which I want to reach my bubble to reach the maximum up position and maximum down position, and depending whether I finish that duration, I am resetting my variable and changing the direction of axis local space travel direction by just negating what was before. So that's one movement that I have, and the other movement is the one that it actually goes through the world. And the way I work with it is actually the bubble alone doesn't move in space. It needs to interact with the wind actor. But apart from that specific detail in my game, it's actually something that you can quickly put together in Unreal, because you just need to take the delta time from your event tick, and basically if you have your variable for velocity, here I have something very much connected to the specific details of my game, which is like travel velocity multiplier and wind strength. In a regular way, it would be just one variable called like bubble velocity. You have to multiply it by your vector of direction, in which you want your thing, in this case bubble, to travel. Multiply your direction with your velocity. Then the result of that calculation you multiply with your delta time from event tick, and then I just add actor world offset, which means that it just moves the actor in the desired location by just a little bit of position change, right? And that's how it moves basically, right? So I have two movements. One is in the local z-axis, constantly bubble going up and down, and the other one is moving in the desired direction, where I'm taking my velocity, multiplying it by my vector of direction, and then multiply it by my delta time from event tick. Because that way, if you take your velocity and multiply it by direction. Then you get, as a result, you get the how far you would travel in that direction. But then if you multiply it by your delta time, you are calculating the exact amount of travel distance that your bubble will cover during that frame, right? So that's the logic behind it. And then I use just a regular blueprint function, add actor world to offset. Unreaper asks, so why the bubble is burning? I'm glad you asked. The idea is that I have a base class that it is just the bubble, right? But the bubbles can contain a couple of things, like for example fire. And that way I can only create in the base actor the logic for like the movement, and in the case of my game interaction with the wind. But then in the child actor, fire bubble, I don't have to re-implement all of the movement. I can just concentrate on the specific nature of carrying the bubble. So the idea is that I have this bubble, the sphere has a different material, and if I shoot at this bubble, it will spawn a flame that might propagate further. And I will show it off in a second. And right now I'm on post item spawned. I'm misremembering the thing, but basically the idea is that the bubbles can carry different things. I also have the water bubble, that if you shoot at it, it will spawn like a block of water that can put out the flame. So also the other idea that I have in here is that if you shoot at, if my bubble interacts with the arrow, it will spawn actor of flame, or whatever actor actually is attached to my bubble, which is the thing that the bubble carries. It will call the function on post item spawned, and in my base implementation it doesn't do anything. But in my child implementation, that's where the meat and potatoes of this whole thing resides, right? Because that's where I actually can take something and I can spawn Niagaras, I can spawn actors, etc, etc. I can do lots of other things. For example, water bubble also does something, and it creates an emitter in here. So that's basically the idea behind it. I have a base bubble that is responsible for movement and from spawning actors that are attached to it, and then in fire and water bubbles I can just change the visualization of it, spawn Niagaras, etc, etc. Let me quickly show you this. Like I have the flaming bubble, it just spawns flame. I missed, now I didn't miss, and it carries through and it can burn the whole thing down, right? The same, I have water actors that for some reason disappeared in here. Yeah, and I can just shoot at them, they spawn water that is putting down the flame, right? So that's the basic gist of it. Dexterowski, hi! Hi! Finally, I have clean hands after eating some wings from KFC, so I can say hello. Nice! Morning with KFC, that's a good morning. I love KFC. Now you made me hungry for some KFC. I might eat some today. So, I guess you have a good morning if you're starting the day with KFC, huh? Unreaper, did I answer your question in such manner that everything is understandable, or did I mumble it and I should, make a couple of things cleaner in my explanation? And how are you doing, Dexterowski? What are you working on right now with your project? Okay, let me try the new thing. Oh, it's a flame propagation range. But whatever, I can prototype it in here as well. Although maybe I should create... Go to another level to prototype this new mechanic. Yeah, maybe I should. Let me go to movement range. Not movement range, shooting range, because it's more about shooting. And let me create this new thingy. Because I want to do two things today. This new transparent windows that you can shoot it, that are showing up in a pair. And if you shoot one window, for sure the other one will just open up and you are able to shoot through it. As I said before, you know, the idea is to teach the player the language of like, hey, if you see this thing, seek out the other thing, because there will be something behind it for sure. Unreal says, so particles aren't able to teleport smoothly. I'm not sure if I understand what you mean. They are moving smoothly thanks to applying the distance they will travel every frame, right? So that's how it creates the illusion of moving smoothly, right? The bubbles are moving smoothly because we are multiplying our distance that it will cover by the timing of the frame, so it means that it will only move by some small amount during the frame, right? And if we have 30-60 FPS, you will not see, you know, any jitterness. You will see it as a one smooth movement. Unreal says it didn't work. Can you try? I'm not sure what you're asking me for right now. Let me get back to the flame propagation range. Let me see. Let me quickly rotate this. Ah, yes, I know what you mean. Okay, because right now, I might know what you mean. Right now, these bubbles are not affected by the wind. As I said, they will only move if the wind is pushing them, right? So right now they are only moving up and down a little bit. And after I actually... Oh, I don't know. There's a bug that for some reason they are suddenly changing their rotation. I'm not really sure why. But right now they can only move if they are affected by the wind from the propeller. I need to add some actual wind particles in here to maybe increase the visual language level in here. But yeah, it looks pretty smooth to me when they're moving. Maybe they might not be looking smooth on stream. I might have some problems with the stream. If things are jittery on stream, let me know, because it might mean that I have some problems with internet right now. But yeah, right now at least on my end, they are moving smoothly. It didn't work. Can you try? Yeah, please. I'm not sure what you're asking for, to be honest. Could you like rephrase it? Because I'm sorry, I'm a little bit lost in here. I would love to answer your questions about this bubble, how it moves, etc. So yeah, so maybe I will stay on this level to quickly get back to this bubble and your questions about it. And meanwhile, I will try to construct those windows that I've been talking about. Particle can't get movement with actors. You mean the bubble can't get movement with actors? You mean, are you asking about how I did it so it won't move unless it interacts with wind actor? Particle can't get movement with actors, but with materials? I'm not sure if I understand correctly, but are you asking if you can move Unreal says, yeah. Okay, so how did I get it to move only if it interacts with other actor? Okay, yeah. If you're asking about that, then let me show you. There is something called interface in Unreal Engine blueprints, and the idea is that everything that implements interface wind affected, which is the interface created by me, blueprint interface wind affected, and it has one function that is called onWind interaction that takes in as a parameters in wind direction world space and in wind strength, right? So it creates a direction of a wind and how strong of a wind we're talking about, right? And everything can implement it, right? It means that it will be affected by wind. And this is this function. On wind interacted. The way you add interfaces is you go to class settings, you press add here, and then you choose the interface. I chose wind affected, and that way I get the this function. The way it works for me is I have this travel direction world space variable, which basically tells you what is direction of traveling of my bubble in the world space, right? It can go fully forward, left, right, up and down, etc., right? On the start, the default variable is just 0. So just even after it gets spawned, it doesn't travel around the world, right? At all. This function has to be called in order to take the wind strength into the account, and then it can take the direction of the wind and mix it by adding to my travel direction world space. So if I have a wind that blows with the 1, 0, 0 direction, which means world space forward, it will just add 1, 0, 0 to 0, 0, 0, which will result in travel direction 1, 0, 0 going forward, right? If another wind will happen to, blow in the same direction, it will, mix with what was before, and it might start traveling, forward and upwards, forward and left, etc., right? So the wind mixing can happen in here. And these variables will only be changed if onWind interaction function will be called, right? And those variables are taken into the account in the movement event, where I'm, calculating everything. As I explained it before, I have my travel direction world space, which comes from this wind interaction, and I have affected wind strength, which can actually, increase the travel velocity that is happening right now. And yeah, those things are taken into the account. But how does the bubble know when the wind interaction is happening, right? That's where another function comes in from something called wind actor base. This is basically this kind of volume, this box, collision box. And on component begin overlap and end overlap, it calls wind interaction. It can just take the actor that it interacts with and just straight up call onWind interaction on the interface BI wind affected, right? And it works smartly in that way that if a given actor doesn't have that interface, nothing will happen. But if it does have that interface, it will call my event onWind interaction and actually influence my bubble in the way that I want it to be influenced. right? And also, if the actor is still within this box, I'm checking if I'm actually, you know, overlapping with anything and taking those actors, and also calling the wind interaction event on the interface. And that's how I can have the wind actor, that is basically a box collision that informs everything inside of it of what type of wind it is carrying, and then the object itself, the bubble, can decide how it processes this information. Did I answer your question, Unreal Per? That's how I'm able to get this interaction between my wind actor that is attached to the propeller itself and rotates with the propeller, and how it can interact with the bubble. Oh my god, once again. I clicked the wrong thing. Play from here. Yeah, so the bubble spawns, right? Nothing happens. It's not affected by wind. But if I rotate my wind actor, those bubbles, I have a bug in here, of course, don't worry about that for now. And those bubbles are moving because our maybe I will be able to visualize that in some way. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which. Oh my god, so many bubbles in there. Yeah, but those bubbles are affected by the wind. And here, wait, maybe I'll be able to like visualize it better. Give me a sec. What is the name of that actor? Wind actor base 4. Let us turn on debugging of wind actor base 4. We can see that it's constantly ticking. It's getting some actors constantly, and if it actually, you know, interacts with something, it will call on wind interaction on that. And we can see this event firing every now and then, right? And on the bubble side of things, I don't think I will be able to catch that real quickly. Maybe here? No. No, it will be hard to catch this thing, but this thing, believe me, it's just being called on wind interaction, and then it actually is able to move in world space. So I hope I was able to answer that question. Oh, and here is the guy with my bow that looks like a gun. It's just placeholder graphics, really. Okay. So maybe let's get to I wonder if there is already maybe a shortcut when I take an actor and I want to place it in a completely other place. Can I just right click and be like, hey, move it here? Move camera to object, move object to camera, move the camera to current mouse. No. I just want to move this actor to where I placed it. Visibility, edit, move here. That's basically what I am searching for, like move here. But I don't see it, really. Move object to camera, maybe. What in the... No, that's not what I wanted. Okay, so the way I'm supposed to go about it is go like this? That's fucking insane. Move object to camera, and now I have it here. I need to write this tool at some point. And I think I rotated it also. I don't want to rotate it at all. And we have our first bot, ladies and gentlemen, on Twitch. So let's delete that cheap viewer stream, blah blah blah, ban that guy. Boom, done. Okay, let's will it work? Yeah, it works. Let's create our funny actor of the doors that we'll be shooting at, like the pair of doors, etc., etc. So how should I do it? Should it be 2 actors? Nah, because then I would have to always by hand click the pairing between them. Unless it is the actor and the child actor, but I don't like working with child actors. When in reality we are only needing, you know, 2 components. So let's, at least for first, make my double paired semi-transparent windows that are shootable, affected by arrows, a single actor, but right now that's something to be answered. How would I name that thing? Double windows. Yeah, let's create a new folder. Double windows. I don't know. It might have a different name. It might not even be windows at the end of it. It might be a creature that you shoot at and it is linked to another creature and it will open its mouth or whatever. I have no freaking clue how it will look at the end. So, let's create a new blueprint. It will be a completely new blueprint class. It's just an actor, BP, double window, and let's call it base because I might have, you know, different iterations of it, right? Let's save it. Maybe let's, you know, turn off other blueprints as I might leave those bubbles because Unreaper says, I am back soon. Loveliness is waiting. Okay, no problem, dude. I'll get back to those bubbles if needed. Right now, let's create this double window base. And yeah, let's have them face always X. And what? Let it be just 1 cube. That will be squashed a little bit in the x-axis, like how? Maybe even more. Yeah. And it will be trigger window. I don't know. It's more like a button and a window to open. If I think about it, it's not too shabby or anything super. Yeah, it's just a button that opens the window. I just realized I didn't design anything new, remotely new, but you know, it's all about adding another toy to play with to create a sequence. It's not like this thing in itself is super awesome because it's not. It's more about like creating a design language for the player to follow, right? It might end up that I will only use it like 6 times in the whole 45-minute scenario, but still. Yeah, so let's make it, I don't know, just red. Right, that's one thing, and the other is the actual window. Actual window. Should I have it like as blocking window? Let's call it that, and let's move it like here, and let it be just blue. Do I have? I don't have just blue. That's a mistake that I need to quickly. Just blue. Basic color and 1, 0. and just blue. That's great. And the other thing that I kind of want to create right now is the outline of the window, that hey, now it is open. And the thing is, do I want it to be a little bit transparent so you can see behind it? Maybe. Maybe. Probably I should have it a little bit transparent. But first let's create an interaction, and yeah, I need like just a cutout of it, right? So I want to get as quickly as I can with that. So here is a blocking window. Yeah, we'll do it just by 4 cube components, and that's freaking it, really. It will be like edges, window edges. That's how it will call it. It will also be all 1 point. Wait. Let's put it in here. Attach. Yeah, maybe I should compose it in a different way. Scene component, right? It will be window bottom window edge, blah blah blah. Lots of clicking through. Window edges. I'm aware that I probably could have modeled it quickly, but yeah. And now this is like open. Like that. Let me move it here. And also squash it in the z-axis to be like this, and move it like. I cannot move it like exactly in here. Wait, hold the phone. Okay, it doesn't matter that much, but it is kind of annoying. Don't snap it. Yeah, now you can snap it, right? And also I want this to be just blue as well, because this window pane will be always here. We'll be just making the blocking window disappear. And I have to go like this. Okay. Wait, I thought I duplicated it, but I forgot that the Alt shortcut doesn't work inside of the blueprint, because why would it, right? Top window edge, blah blah blah. And I have bottom, I have top. Great. Now left window edge. Let's rotate it around the x-axis, right? 90 degrees. A little bit. Yeah, so this huge red thing will be just a giant trigger to shoot at to unlock your window. Nothing too complicated. It should work right out of the gate, which means I will probably make some stupid mistake that I will be debugging for an hour, because hey, that's how the life is. Tell me, how much of the time have you guys spent on like silly mistakes compared to actual, you know, development of new things? Because for me, that percentage is not in favor at all. Not in favor at all. But from, you know, what I talked with lots of other people, it's everyone has the same exact thing. Like, it's supposed to be working. You're creating something simple. It's supposed to be working right out of the gate. 2 hours passing by because of some silly freaking thing, right? Yeah. So the idea is that, you know, we'll be enabling and disabling collisions on that, and it being visible. That's it. It's that simple. But there's one thing that I don't remember, and that's another thing that I want to ask you. Dexterovsky already sent smiley face about the question with silly things. The other question that I wanted to ask is like, how often do you have it? I know I have it every time, that even if I have like a 2-3 days pause between, you know, like working on something, I instantly forget about interfaces. How did I implemented something, how things connect immediately, and that's how I judge how well I designed systems and interfaces, if it is super easy to get back into it. If I designed something that even after 2 months break I can get in and be like, oh, okay, that's how it connected, great. If I design something and after 2 days of break I go back to it and I'm like, I have no fucking clue what I had in mind doing this, I don't know how to do it, might as well just delete it and redo it, then it means that I designed it in a bad way. How often you guys are coming back to your stuff and being like, holy shit, what did I have in mind? Because for me it is way too often. So right now we will see, because I kind of don't remember how am I reacting on, do I have like an interface for things being hit via arrow? I hope so. If not, then I will create this interface right now, and at some point we'll sit down to refactor all the interactions via arrow. So the way I should go about it is probably go into arrows and take my regular arrow, which is, I have BPI arrow target hit. So okay, I have some interface, but where's my regular arrow? Arrow projectile base, here it is. Oh my fucking god, what I'm doing here. Okay, cosmetics, I'm casting to stationary target. Fuck no, I ain't doing that. Sticking to walls, okay. Adding impulse to things, okay. Flammable component, I have no freaking clue what that is about. And then I'm calling on arrow hit confirmed. Okay, so, you know. And it's just on event hit. Okay, so I can just implement BPI arrow target hit. And yeah, I can just go with it. Dexterovsky says, often I constantly must go back to my old code if I want to re-implement something or add something new. Yep. Unreal Per says, that bounds, lol. Yep. Yeah, I remember there was like a funny presentation. It was from the Poznan game conference called Game Industry Conference. I think it was from them, from that event, or maybe Digital Dragons in Krakow, I don't remember. But the idea was that the guy was showing off how they spent like, I don't know, like a year or two implementing ECS for their project, which is Entity Component System. And after that, they immediately realized that they created a 2-year technical debt immediately because it was unusable for their project. And how, you know, them being in love with the specific architecture, maybe that architecture didn't lend itself well to the actual project, so it was a waste of time. It was very harsh lesson, but a very important one. Dexterovsky says, especially in UI, which is mainly in BP. Oh yeah, yeah. You can do some of the logic scripting in code. And I know coders that are doing that thing, but sometimes it's just way easier to click through a couple of functions just to hide, I don't know, elements of UI or make them rotate or whatever, instead of like creating the boilerplate code in order to make it work between code and the visual side of things, etc. It's like the whole problem. There is like a plugin from Epic that is supposed to help a little bit with that, which was called Model View Model. But from what I remember, there is like 2 caveats that are making it not that friendly to use, right? But yeah, UI is something that I don't look forward to for this game. That's why one of the bullet points that I'm trying to hit here is having HUD-less design, because the menus, etc. will already be a pain and HUD if I have to implement it. So if I can go far with HUD-less design, I want to go there because I don't like doing UI. But for everyone out there, if you like doing UI, you are invaluable. Everyone will want to hire you if you are doing it. So, you know, you are very valuable. Every other team member and coder will love you if you are the guy that will be like, hey, I want to work on hard and UI. And, you know, you have a job security. Everyone else will be fired before you, right? Or at least that's how, you know, smart people will be like, okay, there's a guy that actually loves creating UIs and HUD. He needs to be employed forever, right? Because there's not that many people that love it. Unrealper asks, what is hard about making UI? It's not that it is like hard in the terms of like mathematical or technical sense of things, like managing the scale of UI, layers of indirections between gameplay portion of a code and UI portion of a code, managing all the delegates. It's just lots of busy work that tends to be annoying. Kinda like, I don't know, some people don't like UV unwrapping in 3D modeling, and because, you know, it has to be done correctly, but sometimes it can be just annoying to do it, right? The same with like UIs. Managing the code, the levels of indirectness, managing the connection between C++ gameplay code and the visual side of things, connecting the game designer, gameplay programmer, and the UI designer and art director. It's sometimes all of that can be a hassle. Lots of things sometimes have to be rewritten constantly because the gameplay changed and suddenly the whole UI has to be changed, right? Lots of busy work that requires patience, and most of people, me included, gets kind of annoyed by that. But if you are not annoyed by that and you like it, you're golden. Everyone will love you. In every company that I've been at for the day job in game development, if there was someone on the team that loved UI, oh my god, we all loved that person. We were like, oh my god, thank you, thank you. Of course, if they are doing a good job, right? That goes without saying, but yeah. All right. I think I did it correctly with the arrow target hit, so I can just go in here, class settings, BPI, arrow target hit, great. And now I have a function to, you know, I can, I don't know, maybe not disable everything here, but on arrow hit confirmed, not here. I forgot that I should click on here. Now I have an event on arrow hit confirmed, and I can work with it immediately, right? Unrealper asks how to program into Unreal Engine 5, like into the edits. I'm not sure if I understand correctly. Are you asking about C++ programming? How do you program in C++ in Unreal Engine 5? You need to have Visual Studio, or my personal preference is Rider as a C++ editor, IDE, Integrated Development Editor, and Unreal Engine just creates a solution file for the Visual Studio that can be also used by Rider, and then you just use C++ with that. All right, so I have this, and also like, yeah, I mean, collisions are already set up to block all dynamic. I have everything set up in here to work it. Do I need to check what kind of arrow hit me? I don't think so. Unrealper says, what is your calling? Want to be a fan? My calling? Oh damn, that's a deep question. On the day-to-day basis, I work as a programmer, gameplay programmer, and on those streams that I call real game dev learning, I want to show off the real learning curve of game development, and specifically Unreal Engine and maybe a couple of other tools. I also want to explore things outside of my regular day-to-day curriculum, which is C++ programming, but I like to answer questions about C++ programming. And in the future, I want to get into showing C++ coding in here. But, once the project will get to that phase where I will be implementing all those features for real instead of prototypes, that's where I want to show off, like a little bit of C++ programming for real. Oftentimes I jump into plugins in here and try to new Unreal Engine 5 plugins just to see how to use them. And I do it in a real way, which means I don't do preparations beforehand, because I don't like those dishonest, not real streams when obviously a guy was, like training for a week or maybe month or maybe longer to have like the perfect 1 hour stream when he shows off like how, quick, how something is easy, quick, etc. When then you sit down to a tutorial or such stream, and after 5 minutes you are, stopped because the guy jump skips over certain preparations, and you are immediately faced with like problems, and you might leave a comment and you won't never get an answer, or some things as far as the setup goes are overlooked, right? So my streams are all supposed to be like, okay, here's how for real jumping into a specific plugin or specific problem how does it look like. I'm starting it in the same way as you would do, right? I'm sitting down, I only have Unreal documentation, maybe I will follow some other tutorial and immediately get lost, right? And then I will be fixing those problems that I am faced with immediately. Or if it turns out that no, this is a bug of a plugin or an engine, etc., I will tell you like, yeah, this is a bug, it just won't work, right? So we have to wait for fix. And with this particular project in here, Bow and Arrow, I thought to myself, well, even though I am a gameplay programmer on the day-to-day basis, I'm not a game designer, and I would love to learn, in order to actually make the games that I'm dreaming about, etc. I need to learn how to create those game design elements and how to make them fun, how to combine them into a sequence, etc., etc. The idea is that I created a project that allows me to learn more about how to design things. And the other thing is I want to use blueprints more, because on the day-to-day basis I only use C++ code, and I've been given the feedback that sometimes C++ code streams are hard to follow, right? And since I'm only creating super dirty prototypes and I want to create them as fast as I can, so I can answer the question whether the given gameplay element is fun or not, and I should abandon it, I decided to use blueprints to learn also more about them, their limitations, because there are some. So, a game that is supposed to be shipped on consoles, etc. They are supposed to be done with C++ code, right? There is more available to you with C++ code, and I want to learn more about those limitations and talk explicitly in here about them. So that is kind of my calling. I hope I answered your question in such a way that it is understandable, because I was talking for a long time. Unreal says, I'm more far away than you. A real pro handles both, you're right. Then only errors I know. Okay. Where are you from, Unreal? I wonder. I'm from Poland, as I said beforehand. I'm from Poland, and what I wanted to say about Poland, I don't remember. Unreal Germany, yo, cool. Oh, Germany, nice. I've been to Düsseldorf like 2 weeks ago. Düsseldorf and Köln, nice cities. I was on Linkin Park concert, and I was exploring Düsseldorf, really cool city. Lots of cool venues there. Unreal says, I know Düsseldorf. Yeah, really cool city. I liked it there. Okay, I wanted to go to double window base, and basically, if I don't really need to do anything more. If I had been hit by it, then I've been hit by it. Oh no, yes, I want to check if my hit component, I need to break my hit results. One thing that I was amazed at in Köln actually was, you know, like in Europe we have a lot of like, you know, medieval things, etc. We are used to it, like both in Germany and in Poland we have lots of castles, etc. So, you know, like we are used to witnessing that history. But one thing that I was amazed by is, because Köln is a city that was founded by Roman Empire, ancient Roman Empire, there are a couple of buildings that are still there from that time. And I was walking on some street and there was like some tower and an annotation there that, hey, this tower here is been here for almost 2000 years. And I was like, really? Some people from ancient Rome built that shit 2000 years ago and it is still standing? Holy shit, that kind of, you know, blew me away. Like the scale of time, me being right now and looking at that thing, I was like, holy shit, okay. That puts things into perspective. Okay, so I want to see if my hit component actually is the trigger window. Right? Because I want... Whoa. That's not what I wanted to click. I want the player to learn that, hey, if I see this red thingy somewhere in the world, it means that it will open up the blue thingy. And behind the blue thingy, something cool will be there. Either I can just go there, or there will be a star behind it, or something else to shoot at that will connect to something else in the world, etc, 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 right? TW Tamao. Witam. Siema. Hello. How are you doing? How are you doing? Okay, so the thing, first of all, yeah. If I hit this component and I need to immediately add a new boolean, that will be B is window open. Yeah, and we need to check both of those criteria, whether we hit the trigger window and if the window is open. Because if it is not, that's when we are opening the window, and if it is already open, we don't do jack shit, right? TW Tamao asks, I'm fine, how are you, bro? What are you doing right now? I'm glad that you're fine, bro. What I'm doing right now is a little bit exercise in design. I'm making a game with the stupid name called Bow and Arrow right now. It's a placeholder name, but the idea is I wanted to create a game where I would learn how to be a game designer, because on the day-to-day basis I work as a gameplay programmer, but that doesn't mean that I know how to be a good game designer, right? So I thought of the game that, hey, I want to make a game where the way to solve puzzles and interact with the world is you shooting arrows, more of a puzzle game, and let me create elements of the game with it and try to make them fun, how to put them together in order to create the sequence, etc, etc. And I call this phase of making of this game Toyboxing, when I'm treating the game as a big, you know, sandbox, toy box, and I'm just creating toys, putting them in there, and I see what I can, you know, how I can create a cool ass sequence, how I can create a new toy to play around with, right? So right now I am creating such a toy. Simple, really. If you shoot at the red trigger window, the blue window will open up and you'll be able to shoot through it. Super simple thing, right? But the idea is to teach the player the visual language, that at the first sight, when the player will see it and will interact with it, you know, he'll see how it works. Simple thing, right? No challenge at all. But the idea is to teach the player the visual language that if he sees somewhere in the level this red thingy, then the player will know that, hey, somewhere out there is a blue window that hides something cool behind it. Either the star to collect, something that will allow for the player to, I don't know, progress through the level or whatever. I'm trying to, you know, create this little tool in order to add some new toy to the sequence, right? I can show off what kind of things I do have right now. Right now I have, you know, placeholder, arrow shooting that can be charged, that you can shoot far away. I have flames that are able to propagate. I have bubbles that are carrying flames that if I shoot at them, they are, you know, propagating and burning flammable things. I have bubbles that are carrying water that you can shoot at. They will release the water, and if everything is burning, I can create my own path through it. Right, so I have those toys. Let me open up the path in here, right? And I have like a small quick challenge that I'm right now working on as well. I have this spawner of bubbles, and I have this propeller that creates wind, and the star hidden behind flammable wooden logs, right? So now I have to like rotate this around so I can shoot at flaming bubbles and open up the passage to the star so I can collect it. Of course, as I said, if this is a game where you change the state of the world and your main source of interaction is you shooting arrows, you're correcting stars with arrows, right? And I have like more sophisticated examples of that where I have to shoot from afar at those propellers to rotate them in such way that they would start pushing flaming bubbles in the correct way, so they would align with the wooden thingies so I can burn them and get to the star that doesn't look like a star, right? Everything is ugly placeholder graphics, and that's the intention, because if the gameplay portion of if the gameplay prototype is cool to interact with and you feel even a small amount of fun while interacting with it, it means that it will be even better with the proper graphics, right? It means that you are on the right track. So that's what I'm, you know, doing right now. It was a long answer, but I hope I answered you. Can you do impact slash on enemies? I didn't plan on doing any melee for this project, I'll be honest. In this game, I only want to interact with everything via shooting arrow. So I won't be really doing an impact slash on enemies in this project. Maybe I will, you know, this might be a good idea for a future stream to, like, you know, maybe jump into one of the new templates. There's one new cool fighting template in Unreal Engine. I really recommend you check it out. I already had a stream on Unreal templates, and I was exploring some of them. I didn't manage to explore fully all of them, but I would say there was like a one cool fighting template where they show how to do, you know, like kicks, punches, etc, etc. Maybe I will be able to quickly find that thing in here. Let me quickly find it with the timestamp maybe. Oh yeah, I have the fighting template. I'm looking at it, and yeah, I have a timestamp for that. Let me quickly share it. There you go. Template. Reaper says impact like pressure. Oh, you mean that I would smash them, kind of like that? Impact pressure? it might be something that, might be cool to explore. Yeah, maybe I could do, like, if I would be doing enemies, it might be a good idea that, you could shoot at something that it will pressurize the enemy and completely squash them. Yeah, it might be a good idea. I won't be doing it today because I'm not doing enemies yet, but I want to have some enemies in the game, and smashing them with pressure sounds like a cool thing to do. So, be on the lookout. I might do it. And also, I have a Discord where I drop, announcements about when I will be streaming. I'm trying to stream every Sunday, and I will always do a stream announcement, what the topic will be of the stream, etc. We also are sharing, some stuff that we are working on there. Dexterovsky showed off some cool things that he worked on. The plugin that allows you to have great measurements inside Unreal Engine 5. He showed off like a preview version there with the link that you can download. So, we are doing some things there. Let me quickly grab the link and drop it in the chat. Yeah, so I welcome you to join. And let me quickly maybe hide the thing. If we are shooting and the window is not open, then freaking open the window. Which means this becomes visible. Set visibility to false. Let's turn off also the collision. Set collision enabled into no collision. And of course our is window open is set to true, because we only want to do it at one time. Actually, I want to make it an event. Custom event open window. So it will be a little bit easier on the eyes when it comes to the blueprint. I'd rather have lots of smaller events than one giant line of, spaghetti blueprint going from left to the infinity on the right side of the screen, right? So yeah. If the window is not open, open it up. Right, and we want to trigger a timer. Right, we want to trigger a timer because I only want this window to be open for a certain amount of time. So we will call the variable for that open window duration, and it is of course not Boolean but a float variable. I don't know, let's make it like 6 seconds, at least for now. The idea is that it will always be 6 seconds, right? So sometimes the challenge will be, okay, I see, here is a, the red trigger, the blue window is over there, and I have 6 seconds of opportunity to get through there. How the fuck can I, quickly get there and shoot through it, right? Sometimes the puzzle will be how to, get from point A to point B where I can shoot through it the fastest. Sometimes it will be something different. It's mostly about, creating a super understandable challenge for the player and put cool things inside of that challenge, right? That's the reason why I'm creating it. So we open it up, and now let's create a new event. Event close window, of course, where we'll be doing the same thing but in opposite, which is we'll be setting visibility to true and collision to be collision enabled, right? And now the timer. Set timer by function name. I wonder if it will be able to just call that like this. And it's not looping. Yeah, max once per frame, and open window duration is the time of the timer. I'm not sure if it works like that, because I usually went like set timer by event, and I was just connecting the event like that. But I don't like how it looks, because then it would have to be like that, and it creates this red line that is kind of visually, you know, misleading. So I want to see if that function actually will be called by that timer. We'll see, because it creates a little bit of, you know, like an easier to look at blueprint, because it can turn into spaghetti real quick. I might need a quick break in a second, but let me at least finish that up. We'll be adding some visual and some audio flair in a second. And the question is, do I need tick? Not really. I don't think so. I don't need ticking in here. Yeah, it should work relatively simply. I hope I didn't make a stupid error, which means that I made a stupid error. Let's go there. Let's just put it in here. Let's just move it like here. And will I be able to move it along with window edges? Yeah, I am able to move it around. Although right now I see that I should parent it in a different way, so I get to only, you know, move one thing at the time instead of couple. And by that I mean I don't want to like select a couple of components to move them around. I just want to take windows edges and do that. But for some reason, of course, we introduced some error in there, right? That I don't see yet. Why? I'll be honest. So like, how about we reset this whole thing to be on. Excuse me, no. Okay, let me delete this whole window because that got messed up, and put a new one in here. And if I take the window edges, it will move around correctly. Yeah. So let's just test it, right? Let's just shoot at it. With this open, I can shoot through it for 6 seconds. As I said, we will add some visual flair in a second, and that's basically it, right? The idea is that if the player sees the giant red thingy over here, he will have to start searching for somewhere for this. This should be like the language, like, okay, there's something hidden there. I need to find that thing in the level, right? Yep. And something is happening on the Discord. Unreal Pair, hey, glad that you joined the Discord. Thanks for joining the Discord. Alright, guys, I need a quick little break. So I'll be back. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. I need a quick little break. And we'll be adding some visual flair to this so it will be easier. And so it will be more cool to look at. And yeah, we will jump on to actually taking the rotator cube out of propeller and making it an element that can be attached to anything, and it will rotate anything if you shoot at it, right? So that's one of the things that I also want to do today. So a quick break is due, and I'll be back in like a couple of minutes. See you soon. All right, I'm back. Had to take a quick break. I also ate some quick snack and got some more beverage. Something called yerba. Don't know what the hell it is. But I got this recommended to me and it tastes quite interesting. It's supposed to be containing yerba mate. Okay, let's get back to this whole thing. And yeah, so we have this simple quick thing, right? Let's add some visual flair to it. For example, shooting at it could play a quick animation on the scale, right? So it would be like resizing it, right? And of course some sound while we're shooting at it, right? So open window does all of that, and then at the end, before I do this, let me tell you about how accidentally you could crash this whole thing. Let's say, for example, I would put that whole thing inside of like open world, or in some part of level that I might stream out, right? How it can crash? Well, I set up the timer event by function name, and it gets saved in like timer manager or however it was called, I don't remember. And after those 6 seconds happens, it might be called that, hey, I should call the function of the name close window on the object BP double windows base. But it might not exist anymore because I unloaded it, right? So it will call a function on a place in memory that doesn't exist, crash, right? So one good thing to always do when dealing with, I can delete all of this at the moment, when dealing with the timers and function delegates in C++, is when end play is happening, which is a function that is being called where an object gets deleted from the world, right? Which might be unloading from the world, something else killing it, whatever, right? What is always good to do is to create a variable out of this timer and call it like open window timer handle, right? To save it. And on end play, get if it is valid, sorry, if it is still valid and is timer handle active, actually, if it is, if it is valid and active, and I think we need to add another one that I saw there, is does timer exist by handle? We need to check all of those things because, you know, yeah, we need to check for all of those three because they are changing checking a little bit different things. And if all of this is true, then we need to end this timer by hand. That way, and no, stop, no, timer. How the hell do we delete the timer? Clear and invalidate timer. It clears the timer, which means it won't be called anymore, even if the object gets deleted, right? It won't be called right out of the gate. And I think we can also take this and set wait, what? And set it to 0. And if it is not active anymore, it should be set to 0 anyway. And the other thing that we can do is when the window is getting closed, we should clear the timer and invalidate it as well. That way we are safe from the crash that would happen if we went far away from this object. It gets unloaded, but in the memory of the game, the timer still exists, and we'll try to get called on an object that doesn't exist anymore, right? Maybe I could visualize it a little bit better. Yeah, let's take care of all that. Let's say we have our object here, right, with the timer. And Reaper says, I'm back. Hey, I'm back as well. I had a quick break too. Nice to have you here once again. We have this object that creates a timer, right? This timer actually goes into like timer manager. And what gets saved is, hey, in 6 seconds, call close window. On object, I don't know, let's call it red, right? On object red, right? And what we did just before, just a second ago, we created a safeguard. Because let's say this is the object, here is the player, but the player will, in those 6 seconds, for some reason, teleport like 2 kilometers away. The open world Unreal Engine systems will make such situation that this object doesn't exist anymore, right? There's no red object in here, it doesn't exist. But the timer still will be called, and in 6 seconds it will try to find the object red and call the close window function on it. But it doesn't exist, it doesn't have anything to call. So what will happen? Crash. That's why, you know, we did that. That's why on the event end play we are checking if our timer is still valid, is active, and does it even exist by handle. If all of those are true, we are clearing and invalidating the timer and setting our variable to be null, right? To safeguard from that problem. Unrealper asks, you call this object assets maybe? No, I was just calling it an object just to prove a point why did I create the safeguard, right? When using timers, and that is in general a good practice that whenever you're using any timer, you should always save the handle to it. And when endPlay gets called, and endPlay is a function that gets called when the object is deleted, that you should always clear and invalidate the timer. Because it will safeguard you from a probable crash, right? But now let's get back to it and let's create this simple, nice visualization that when we open a window, we will scale the whole window in a funny way. So once again, timeline component. I'm not a fan of it. I need to schedule a stream when we will be exploring how to create animations inside of Unreal Engine on objects. But for now, you know, we will be using timelines. Unrealper asks, did you do particles? You're asking about the bubbles? Yeah, I showed them a little bit like beforehand, but I think you're still there and I didn't get back to the topic since then. But if you're asking me about if I ever did Niagara particles, then yeah, I did some of them. I'm not great with them, but I did some of them. Okay, so open window gets called. We are playing from the start. And what will be happening here? And like, it will be quick animation, maybe half a second. At float right scale anim, and it will be just going like one key will be here, and it will be a half. Will be going to 1. The other key at the beginning also will be going to 1, and we will be add a key to it like 1.25, and it will be like, I don't know, this. Then in 0.25 it will be once again 1, and in here, which will be oh my god, no, like no, I wanted to put this here, and it will be 1.5 as well. Yeah, like a quick little animation on the timeline component. Scale animation, and it will be taking the trigger window. Set scale. Yeah, set relative scale. We're converting it to vector, and we will see that it will be reacting funny to our shot. Oh, I think I fucked it up. Because it stays as a cube. I forgot that that's not what I was supposed to do. In the actual axis, I should be changing Y and Z axis. X stays the same. Okay, so I kind of messed it up. So yeah, we're taking that. We're splitting this tract and set relative scale 3D. And X, it is still the same. But yeah, Y and Z axis in the local space should do it. Almost there, almost there. What I should also take from here is like get scale, get relative scale 3D, split struct, and X should not be affected at all. Now it should feel correct. Yeah, we shot it. It reacted nicely, and that's great. I also want to do a small timeline component animation on the window that is being open. And I want to just scale it down into almost nothingness, right? So it will look like it disappears. So another timeline component. So probably I should do it in sequence. This is the first sequence. Trigger window anim. Also 36. And window with DW. Yay! Okay. Now another timeline component. I think the next stream will be about how to animate inside of the Unreal Engine, because I feel like I might need it a lot in a soon future. Yeah, okay. That one will be called blocking window anim. And here we'll be playing it from the start, and it will also be for like a half a second. And add a float track, yeah, add key here. And the difference will be that it will actually be starting at scale value of 1 and getting to 0 at the half second. That's kinda it, I think. Yeah. So now we will be just taking that and taking our blocking window actually. Ah yeah, I forgot to name that thing. Rename. It will be blocking window scale anim. I dislike timeline components because they are like a little bit too heavy. But on the processing side of things, especially if there are lots of them, but for the prototype it just will do. And once again, set relative scale 3D. And I also want to take the current scale and just I can just go like this. Here's the thing, because I want to scale it properly from current relative scale and then go back to it, right? So I need to save what the scale is at the beginning. So at the begin play, we will just take the blocking window, get relative scale 3D, right? Because we want to save it, and promote to variable, open window, starting relative scale, right? This is what we do start with. And then we can just take our relative scale and just multiply that by this, and that way we'll be always scaling from the proper scale that we set up earlier and to when we will be getting back, right? So when it is updating, it goes like this. We can recombine the scale struct in here. And it should work. But we also wanna go from reverse from end, right? Start from the end when we are about to close the window. So let's do exactly that. And here is blocking window anim. And we'll be adding sounds to it soon. Unreal Per says, I hated timelines firstly, like arrays, lol. Yeah, I still am not a big fan of timelines. Sometimes they do come in handy in prototypes and in certain situations, so I don't want to hate on it too much, but in my day job, I tend to avoid them at all costs. I mostly use them for prototypes or when someone gives me their blueprint to put into C++. The timeline informs me of what they want and we move it to like curves, regular curves, etc, etc. But I know that in Unreal Engine it is possible to animate things, not only I think skeletal meshes but also other things in editor. That's how they animated the Lego Fortnite, and I think next stream might be about exploring that, because I feel like right now I will have more gameplay elements where I might need some animations, especially once I will get to the enemies, even though my enemies probably will be super simple. But it still will be nice to, you know, animate them without timelines. Unreal Per says, I still do blueprints, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine to start with blueprints. Especially in the prototype phase, right? Especially prototype phase, exploring things, etc, etc. Unreal Per said, I still do blueprints instead of C++. Yeah, for the first thing, sure. Of course. I'm drinking some lemonade. Unreal says, I did 3 C++ courses, lol. Oh, and how do you rate them? Were they cool? Were they not? Is there something that you could share with people, like some cool course? Because I've been asked a lot about how, is there like a course that would teach someone good C++ that would be viable for gameplay programming? And I don't know how to answer these questions because I learned C++ in university, so I don't have the experience of doing courses, right? And I don't know what to recommend. Unreal says, they were hard to copy. It was big courses. Okay, so they were hard to copy, hard to follow, etc., etc. Yeah, that's what I'm unfortunately thinking, that some of the courses, if the guy that is creating a course has a language that is not for you, he explains things in such a way that it is not your language and it's hard to understand, the whole course is lost on you, right? Sometimes it is just better to go head first and just start trying to write shit and being like, okay, I want to do this. How do I do that? And start Googling it or asking AI or whatever, and it might help you, you know, to get your feet wet first, to use the metaphor. Yeah. All right, let's. Oh my god, this animation was way too quick of scaling. But that one was alright. Oh, it's not reusable? What the flying fuck? I made an error. Of course I made an error. Close window. I don't set the B is window open to false. Great. That was great of me. The animation of it disappearing is way too fast. But then getting back is actually how I wanted it to be. But why is it so extremely fast? Wait. Always go reverse from end, first of all. And second of all, the noise, the starting point annoys me so much. Yeah, like, let's move it here. Unreal says, I'm going smoke one. Okay, have a nice smoke, dude. I don't understand why it is so fast at the beginning. Like, way too fast. I have no clue. But it works, so I don't care that much. And if it's reversing, it's actually correct. And it looks way too fast on when playing it. That's why I sometimes don't like timelines, because it's like, hey, it is weird. But okay, whatever. It is working. Right now we can add some simple audio to it. On hitting the window, and it's scaling down and scaling up. Like, that's it. And maybe let's just find some ready samples. Open window, blah blah blah, and here's the anim. Like, play sound at location. Yeah, I can just inject it in here. And also I could be like custom event trigger window anim. I can go like that. And move it somewhere else. That will actually be more viable to look at. Trigger window anim. Thank you. And I could create a custom event. Play blocking window anim. Forward. And custom event, of course, play window anim, play blocking window anim, play blocking window anim backward. And just go like that, and go like that. Delete that, delete that. Connect it like in here. And here call play blocking window anim forward. Play blocking window anim backward. And we organized our BP a little bit better. So it is more, you know, what is wrong with that note? Why is it treated? Okay, now it is treated correctly. Yeah, and now I can take both of those, put them in here. Because for me personally, reading blueprints from top to bottom so is way better when I have lots of events, especially commented ones, than going from the left towards infinity to the right. So I'd rather have that than something else. And I also don't like too many nested functions inside of, like, you know, blueprints, because it's even harder to read. Okay, so we'll be playing sounded locations, and we need to find some sound. No. 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 Collapse. It's explosion. No, 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 no. Something else. I like the enter simulate as the sound for the windows opening and closing. Explosion, of course. Fire, fire, floating UI. Those are way too. Okay, so I like the sound. Where was it? Maybe that one, and the location, of course, is. Or should I go like get actor default, get actor world, get actor location, just yep, just like that. We don't have any attenuation settings for now. We will be doing some audio setup, but I'm not sure if it will be doing it in prototype phase. I want to do like a stream about audio modulation and how to set up settings, etc. But it will probably be where this project goes out of prototype phase and dirty prototyping blueprints into actual shippable code and scripts, etc. So we will see about that. Okay, now, okay, so we got that. And I also want to play, and we are playing this anim. I want to play the sound of like, or actually it opening up, like scaling down. So let me add another play sound, because they might be, those two objects might be far away. Let me remind you, they won't be close together like this all the time, actually. And actually that would be good for co-op. If one player is here shooting at the target, the other one is able to shoot through the window of opportunity. And they will hear two different sounds. Like, yeah, okay, it makes sense. I'm getting back on the track of thinking about this game in the co-op scenario. So, play sound at location of like opening window. And I like that, where was it? That's the one that I'm already using. That will be from getting back to closed window, but I like the enter simulate. But let me maybe quickly create a meta sound, because I don't remember if in meta sound I can play the wave backwards, because that's kind of what I would love to do. Play the wave forward and backwards, kind of like I did with animation, right? So let's create a meta sound sort, ms opening window. Those names don't make too much sense, but whatever. Wave player, yes, stereo or actually mono. Wave player mono, right? And could I play it in reverse? Really? Not really. Why? Ah, god damn it. I thought that maybe the wave player could play things in reverse. That would be cool. I'm so disappointed. God damn. Is there like a reverse? No. There's only like wave player. God damn it. I thought that maybe I would have something in reverse, but maybe I still hold hope. Let's go to this end simulate. Is there like a reverse? No. You cannot just click reverse on a sample. God damn it. But from what I remember, they added some audio editor in here, right? As one of the plugins. How about create cue, create dialogue, blah blah blah. Is it like a plugin or something? Let's look through audio capture, audio modulation, audio motor, blah blah blah, audio gameplay, audio insights, audio widgets, harmonics. Because I remember Epic showing that they implemented like some basic audio editor in here. Waveform editor, yes, we have that. Let's try to use that, shall we? Let's save things in level. Let's restart now. Yeah, let's save everything. Unreaper is back, y'all. Done this. Nice to have you back. Let's turn off the documentation for significance manager. Let's reopen this thing, and let's see how can I use how do they call it? Shit. In audio, they called it waveform editor, right? Waveform editor. I have no freaking clue how to use that. Editor tool for waveforms. Let's look at it. Waveform editor. No, not here. I don't see it in here. Here? Window editor. Place actors, light mixer. No. So it's not in here. So maybe it is as I was thinking, that I have to go in here, right click it, and edit waveform. Yes, I have it. Okay, so let me copy this sound actually to my assets. Like, let's add it, cosmetics, targets, no, projectiles, etc. Windows. Cosmetics, let's add it here, right? And let's save it. Where the hell do we have this? Save it. Let's now create edit waveform, and let's see if I can reverse it in their own in-engine wave editor. Of course, I could, just import the sound to Audacity, click it, reverse, and just put it in there. But I want to see how far you can get without turning on any other, program. So let's see if they added actually reversing. They have markers. Oh, you can actually add marker cues for waveforms. That actually is something important. Delete marker cues, export, import, blah blah, zooms in. Transformation, what kind of transformation we can have? Transformation markers, normalize. Okay, we can markers, cues and loops, wait for trim fade. Okay, that's not what I'm asking for. I'm actually Can I? Oh, it works in a weird way. I am literally just trying to reverse this sample. And I couldn't do it via wave player in meta sounds. I cannot do it just by opening the sound, right? There's no like reverse in here. And I don't, there's no reverse in here. And I cannot just like select on things. This is not a waveform editor if I cannot cut things inside of it. I can do like this, but I cannot reverse the waveform. This is one of the basic. Unrealper says they called this not assets and not objects, it says bones. Huh, you're talking about the animation? Yeah, if you're talking about the animations, that if you have skeletal mesh and these things are, you know, like when you're moving character, yeah, these are bones, right? If this is not a skeletal mesh, then you can animate anything inside of this actor, right? Nah, just for fab. Okay, okay. Priority, concurrency, like literally I cannot reverse this file inside of the Unreal Engine. Barabash is here. Hi Barabash, lurking from shadows and silence. As always, I can feel your lovely gaze from afar. How are you doing, Barabash? Did you just woke up or? It is extremely annoying that I cannot just take a waveform and be like, hey, reverse it. And that's it, right? Here are transformations, but I cannot, none of them are doing the reverse of the wave file. And I also, in meta sounds, I cannot reverse it. Okay, save this thing. Maybe in the old as gameplay cues, sound cues, I can reverse it. Can I reverse it? No. Is there like a reverse? No. Why? Why is it so hard to reverse the sample? And I don't have like a reverse. No. Here's like a wave player, but I can only set it to looping. I cannot. Alright, so what? Do I really have to export this into WAV file, load up out the city, reverse it, and re-export it here? Okay. Barabas says, I woke up earlier, but I was catching up on live. Oh, okay, okay. Nice, nice. How are your animals? How are they doing right now? Did you get any new cat or dog or something? Meanwhile, I'll try to deal with the bullshit of reversing the goddamn audio file, which right now I'm also seeing I cannot export this. No, I can. Fortunately, I can export to, I don't know, to like my desktop. Yeah. Audacity. The open source, but still one of the best basic editors. Skip the update, blah blah blah, and let's open up like let's go to this Audacity, enter simulate, and I have to do that thing, edit, like generate, reverse. How the fuck did you reverse this thing in? I think it was just like here and. Oh my god, it's been so long that I had to click reverse on anything. Yes, special reverse. Now we have a reverse sample. I can make it a little bit quicker. That thing I don't need. I can actually make it like this. Great. Export as WAV files, export audio, enter simulate. Reverse, not into Barabash mixtape, but into pulpit, desktop. Not as a wave, not as an MP3, but as a WAV file. Yeah. Export. Great. Now I can turn that off. No, don't save the project. Now I can go back to the Unreal. And also I have to go like, hello. Import it here. Yes. Now I have the sound that I wanted. God damn, so many clicks. Unreal says, I'm away for now. No problem. Wanted to also caught up on what you're doing here on 1.75 speed, but it didn't make sense. So now I'm here watching you struggle live. It's always a struggle when you live in Poland. Lols, no, I'm not adopting new animal every month. You're not? Damn, that's what I thought you're doing. They are good, although Cation has some slight cough lately. Oh, Cation is one of your cats? Or a dog? I don't really know the names of your animals. I don't know you, man. Who are you? Who sent you? Nah. It sucks that it developed some cold. Some cough. Sorry, some cough. I wonder why, huh? Is it like super cold at your place or something? Save the asset. Now I can get back to my motherfucking blueprint. Yeah, thank you. I can play the sound, enter simulate. And here, it sucks that I had to, you know, go through like that many clicks. In order to just reverse a sample, but fuck it. And now the same thing here, but in reverse. Yep, and now it should just be working fine. Oh my god, that was such a distraction. Yup, cat, as the name suggested. Ah, because it has a cat in it. Well, I thought that maybe you are being, you know, funny and named your dog Cation. The dog's name is Dogmat. Wait, are you for real? Or are you just fucking with me? Because it does sound like you're fucking with me. Did you really name your dog Dogmat? That's funny. Okay. Okay, it works kind of like I wanted it to. Now the thing is that there can be another one of these actors and it can go work like this. Bang, bang. The whole thing gets, I don't know, like 5 times bigger, 5 times bigger, 5 times bigger. Oh yeah. And it can go like this, and it can go like this, and actually let me put it in here, let me rotate it like in that angle. Now let me take the window edges and move that here. Move that here. Maybe let me quickly add like some, it can be quick planes, who cares? Like make it 8 times here, 8 times here. Rotate that. Ah, yeah, that's why I wanted to make it cubes. Sorry. Right now I'm doing basic, super basic level design in here, just to check on something. Malabar says that his dog is named Dogmat for real. And it is funny because Dogmat is Polish word for dogma. Yeah, I've been looking for a word with dog in it. So, okay, but you have multiple cats. What are the names of the other cats? Are they also... Do all of them have an CAT inside of their names? If you found that many names, that I'm, you know, Officially super impressed. Okay, like let me quickly do that. And do that. And yeah, and behind that there will be a star that I forgot where I have in my blueprints. So, oh yeah, we have star target in here. It is super big. So maybe I should make it like slightly less occupying space. Sentence much? No. Okay. So now, as a player, I can go like this. Oh. Something weird happened to the destructible of a star, but as always, chaos fucking destroyable things. Or it could be even better. Huh, I can make it better. Make me take all of this shit. I should really start packing those things into packed level actors. That's one thing that, in my opinion, is not that. Ah, the hell, bro. And also, I need this and that. Can I just copy it and paste it like freaking here, or maybe here? Edit, paste. Where the fuck are you? Did you just really not work? Yep, it didn't work at all. Fuck it. Why? It completely... What just freaking happened? Okay, fuck it. I will just move it by hand. Yeah, like the What in the holy mother of everything? Oh, it is so annoying. Yeah, like creating a composition of different actors and elements in the Unreal is not what I love the most. Like, I wish they will come up with something better. There is like packed levels, but they are not fun to edit, in my opinion. So yeah, like level instances, etc. Sometimes you don't need that. Yeah, so my idea right now is that I will create a sequence like this. Actually, Barabash answers about his animals. Well, right now I have only one, and I didn't name him Cation as I wasn't his first guardian. Okay, but I named my previous cats, and those were named after personality traits. Huh, good idea. Although in case of two of them, their personality completely changed when they grew up. Oh, and then it sucks to rename them, right? But they have names without that cat pun. Okay, okay. That is kind of funny that they do change their... Both cats and dogs can sometimes change their personality significantly when they grow up. But it's kind of the same, the truth for humans, right? Let me extend that thing a little bit, so it will be like here. Are you seeing what I'm trying to do here? There will be a flame bubble behind those doors. And that's how it will work. I wonder if I can just right now. Can I edit multiple? No, I cannot. So I have to go like this, huh? Alright. I will click through each and every one of those like a bastard. God damn it, sometimes I'm annoyed at these type of things. That's why I'm probably not a level designer, because you do have to click through this type of things, and that is kind of annoying. So for sure, if I were to deliver this kind of mechanic for real, I would probably be using like, I would create some custom tool to create something a little bit easier to manage, right? Barabash, have you been playing any games lately, or watching some new anime or show or whatever? Maybe some book that you could recommend? How are you doing? Let's delete that. Let's put one singular flaming bubble, or should I go with my spawners? Okay, let's go with fire bubble spawner. It will be here, and it will be constantly spawning bubbles, or should I just put one bubble in it? Yeah, maybe let's put one flaming bubble in it. Like here. Yeah. So now it is a little bit more involved sequence. You can create like a cascading, you know, like that this red trigger is hidden by another blue door, and this another blue door is hidden by another red trigger, etc. But it would be too complicated. I think the idea is that you should, you know, when you see on a level just one of those red triggers, then you know that it will be exactly one of the blue windows or doors or whatever, how do we want to call them? And only after you exit that space and time space to another maybe room or something, that's when you can encounter a new one. I could also make it so that you have to, let me show you. You can also use it to hide, you know, like things to teleport to, and to do something in here, and then jump from there to like somewhere else. Yeah, like with this simple setup, I can do a lot. This simple freaking thing, I can actually really do a lot of things. Barabar said that he's doing the Polish way. Not bad, but never good. Ain't that the truth, my bro? I finished the Blasphemous 2 lately, and it's pretty good. Ideal Switch game to play on toilet. Oh! Nice, nice. Are you playing it on Switch 1? Or did you buy a Switch 2? I was thinking about buying Switch 2, but then they revealed the fucked up prices of games, and that because my main reason for buying Switch 2 was I wanted to play Tears of the Kingdom more in like 60 FPS and full HD, but when they said that they require payment for something that should be a free update, I was like, nah, I'm good. And then the pricing for the games, and I was like, nah, I can't be bothered, I'll wait. I buy a used one, both games, and Switch 2 in a couple of years. Barabash answers, Switch 1 of course, fuck those prices and fuck lack of OLED screen. Oh yeah, the OLED screen as well, yeah. I was like, no OLED screen, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for Switch 2 with OLED. And probably a little bit more so I could buy a used one a little bit cheaper. Because we're in such markets that, you know, why would I buy a fresh new console? Barabar says, and there will be more games for it at this point. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'll be honest, in my life, you know, I didn't have that much money in my life, or I should say almost no money when I was a kid, right? So I always was saving up from my allowance, which wasn't too much. It was like 20 zlotys every month, and I had to buy some other shit with that. So, you know, saving up for a used 4-year-old Nintendo DS that I bought for 200 zlotys. It took me like 3 years to save up for that. But I always have been buying, when it comes to like handheld consoles, because I didn't really buy home consoles, I couldn't afford them, used one. And I never really had bad experience. Nintendo DS amazing, Nintendo 3DS amazing, right? Finally, when I was able to afford the home console, I bought in 2010 like a used PS2 with a whole stack of games, amazing experience. I bought in 2015 a used PS3 and a stack of games, amazing freaking experience. And those games were super cheap to buy, right? And only when the PlayStation 4 era came in, I was like, alright, let me try, because I always wanted to buy a game from current gen, right? So I bought like PlayStation 4, then I bought Xbox Series X when it kinda got premiered. And I'll be honest, having those two experiences, between buying a used console and a whole stack of games versus buying a new one and constantly paying like top prices for it, ain't worth the money. Maybe it was, you know, back in the PS2, PS3 and PS4 era, because that was a nice feeling, but right now it's like, not really. My microphone and my holder. Okay, everything is alright. So I'm going back to my old childhood ways, right? Like, okay, Switch 2, I will wait a couple of years. Next gen from Xbox or PlayStation, if there will be a next gen for Xbox, also I'll be waiting. But also they don't give me too much, you know, like reasons to buy consoles right now, because there are no amazing exclusives in the amount that it was on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, right? So, So, you played Blasphemous Barabbas 2, the second one. Did you also play the first one? Okay, so I can use it like that. Okay, I got another new toy to play around with. And right now, I still have like a little bit of time left for streaming. Repurpose this rotating cube into a component that could be attached to any fucking thing, and it will just start rotating things around. Because my idea is that I wanna teach the player that, hey, if you see a gameplay element with this square rotating cube, attached by a stick to something, it means it will rotate. I want to teach this visual language to the player. So it's not only something that is applicable to my wind propeller, it will be also a thing that will be applicable to other things, like for example walls or whatever, right? Yeah. Barabbas says, not only you get more expensive games in release, but also more buggy ones. Ain't that a truth? Ain't that a truth? Like right now, buying games in release from AAA, they have to prove that they deliver a good game on the release to buy them, right? So, you know, they have to really deliver. Indie games, yeah, indie games sometimes are getting released in the better shape than AAA ones, so they deserve your money on start, right? But some of the AAA ones, man, oh man. Barabbas says, yeah, I did play the first one and it was nice. B2 is Blasphemous 2 is a proper sequel, as it is an upgrade which is better thanks to improvements. That's how the sequel is supposed to be, right? I'm glad that you enjoyed this game. I'm glad that it was a cool experience for you. Okay, I might need a quick break and I'll be back in like a second. So, super quick break. Super quick break, and we will get back to creating this rotating cube as a component that I can attach to anything, right? So I'll have even more freedom of the level design than before. Okay, so see you in a couple of minutes. Alright, I'm back, my friends. I'm back. Barabar says, and regarding B2, Blasphemous 2, there was one really cool mechanic that you would may like to consider for your game. Oh. You can shoot a projectile, which after passing the trigger, changes into character's avatar. And when you press a button, you are teleported to that avatar. Oh yeah, like a form of teleportation. Yeah, might be. Might be. It sounds really cool. It sounds really cool. Yeah, I might get back to like the movement capabilities in this game. Although I have to say I am thinking about, because this launching yourself as a projectile is so funny to me. And the way it kinda works, it kinda reminds me of golf ball, so I am thinking about that, you know. You might be playing as a sentient golf ball in this game. I don't know, but there is something like that connects with golfing for some reason with this game for me. I don't know, we will see. But that sounds like a really cool ability in Blasphemous 2. I've been playing Expedition 33. I'm in Act 2 and I cannot say too much about this game except that it is really freaking amazing. They did follow the blueprint that Chrono Trigger laid out and old school Final Fantasies really in an amazing way. I feel similar emotions of like, wow, you can still do that in the modern era, as I did when I was playing Sea of Stars. Although there is a difference because Sea of Stars is kind of a positive, optimistic game. Expedition 33, right out of the get-go, you feel that the Frenchness of this game. It starts from the depression and it only gets more hardcore further, but I super respect that shit. Super respect that. Okay, so let's try to take functionality out of this wind propeller into generalized component. So first thing, we will create like a folder for it because I don't know what else I might add to it, and it will be called like rotators, right? And I want it to be just a component. So blueprint class that derives, actually I want it to derive from static mesh component because I want it to have a visual representation. Okay, select. And it will be called B rotator rotator cube base. Let's call it base, right? Yeah, and it will have a static mesh, of course, a cube. But there's one thing to it. I just realized I also have the stick inside of this propeller. So I will need to create like a mesh for it, which is not a big deal, but you know, we will do that. But we need to take those things out of here. There's one thing that I am thinking about. Can I add blueprint interfaces? Yes, I can. And I wonder how it will work. I never really added blueprint interface to a component. BPI arrow target hit. And I have to, whoa, no new event graph track. No. I wanted to add a function. No. I wanted to on arrow hit confirmed. Yes, exactly. And now let me get to the propeller. The debug prints info. I don't care about that too much. And of course I need to kinda copy most of this logic, really. Which means also copy most of those variables. So let's do exactly that. Right? Should rotate, desired final rotation. All of those variables I should copy, right? So B should rotate. Actually, let me put it into double windows like that. And shoop. Now I can make this smaller because I don't need it right now. Because I will be just copying this whole freaking thing, right? So first of all, yeah. Break result and hit component has to be equal to this. Can I just go like this? Yeah. I'm not sure if it makes sense, but what were you, Barabash, it just hit me, the question hit me. What were you the most amazed at with the Blasphemous 2? Like, what kind of ability did you like the most? Was the plot or lore amazing in the sequel? What do you like the most about the Blasphemous 2? I might just add it to my wishlist on my Switch. And play it in quick breaks, as you said, on the toilet. Okay, so if there's a blocking hit and actually it contains our hit component, then that's where we are proceeding forward. And if it is already on shoot rotate, then we do not do nothing. If it is that, well, I think I can just copy all of that shit here. What the hell happened? Okay, put it here. Put it here quickly. And then play arrow hit Q. Okay, a new event. Custom event, blah blah, play arrow hit Q, right? And I will just do that. Of course, I cannot have the timeline component copied because that would be way too cool. So play the sound and then timeline. I wonder if you can. You cannot use timeline components inside of the component, of course. Of course. Of fucking course. So, whoa, I'm not sure if I can turn it into just blueprint component. That sucks. So I would have to forego the cute animation that I did for that. That really does suck. That really does suck. Okay, I will have to figure out how to do the animation the other way, without timeline. That is interesting. But can I get like get owner actor and that's where I can timeline component? No. And component by class, and can I be like timeline component and then I get it, and can I save it? Can I turn it into like variable? And yeah, right now I'm just, you know, freestyling here, trying to see if I can add the timeline component that way. Although the actual, you know, stream when I will be learning how to animate inside of the Unreal Engine is, I think, happening next Sunday. Because I'd rather avoid this bullshit that I'm doing right now. Barabash answers about the Blasphemous 2. I think the art direction was the most interesting part of the game. Although I didn't care too much about the lower story, as it was very Souls-like, same as the gameplay, so very unclear and mystic. From the gameplay point, I really enjoyed the mechanic that I've mentioned the most, as it was really satisfying when incorporated into platforming properly. Huh. Alright. I need to, well, Google the Blasphemy 2. Blasphemous 2. Fuck. And how is it called? Teleportation? I don't know. Projectile? How is this thing called? I'm not sure. Movement abilities. Oh, I think this is something of interest. The animations are so great. Okay, that's not what they were doing. This is like some dash. Huh. I'm not sure how this is named. If this ability has a name, Barabbas, I would be really thankful if you could send the name of it here. Oh, okay. If you could send the name of it here, because I would love to see it in action. Is it in here? These are the 5 best movements, blah blah blah. How long it's gonna be? What the fuck? I got trolled. Okay, fuck you. I got trolled with this shit. Okay. Time. Owner timeline. Owner actor. Owner actor time. The fuck? Owner actor timeline. Why? What? In the. Could not find the name face? What kind of fucking face? Okay. Can you do it now? Okay, scene component. Promote to variable, targeted scene component. Now can you do it? Thank you. Because we will be explicitly, you know, saying like, hey, this scene component will be rotating and we'll be choosing it when adding this component to the actual actor. But why the fuck can I not name the timeline component? Fuck you then. I cannot use the timeline component in that way, shape or form. I think the next stream is going to be about animations because what is happening right now is pure bullshit. I'm a little bit annoyed by that, but you know, we will go through. Okay, but on the event side of things, it's like, okay, we hit the arrow and then play arrow hit Q is being called, right? Play arrow hit Q, right? Okay. Okay, so that whole event is copied when as far as logic goes. 36. Right, here's the play arrow hit Q. Play arrow hit Q. But even if I have this timeline component as a new var, can I be like, hey, play from... Okay, I can at least call the functions on this timeline component, but I cannot edit the curve on it or anything like that. So the timeline component is unusable for now. Okay, but I can live without it. I can figure things out around it. I don't use timeline component anywhere else. Blade cosmetics is connected to that, and here is where the whole rotation happens. So I need to delete even begin play, and I get to copy should rotate logic in here, and I have to add local rotation. Wait, hold the phone. Ah, yeah, okay, yeah. I am doing this, and if I'm rotating, of course, I am adding local rotation. Ah, I have to finish soon, and I'm not near the ending of that. Shit. Okay. We will try to speed through it. Then get propeller face rotation local angle. It's the whole function. That is, oh yeah, I needed that function. Okay, let's add this function. I forgot what the hell face is, but we'll try to, you know. What is the face in here? Ah, that whole thing. Okay. Okay, so we have the whole function set up in here. Let's get back to event graph. Now I can copy that logic, that part of a logic. Then I can copy all of that thing, I guess. Did I crash? Did I crash the engine? Will we have the first crash today? Because I wanted to copy a couple of blueprint nodes and automatically create missing function. No, it just didn't copy it. That's great. Can I just... Okay. And it goes like that. The true goes in here, and the rest of the logic goes as follows, and then I have to create like finish all rotations, right? Yep, and custom event. Quickly, let's add it. Yeah, should rotate in desired final location. I have those functionalities already. Now I can replace that with... Can I actually refresh that? No, I cannot. What is going on? I cannot... What the hell happened? I cannot add new nodes? What? It bugged out for real. Okay. What if I delete it? Compile it. What in the holy mother of... Okay, quickly. Fixing. Get. What the... And here... Did I unbugged it? That's not a sentence, but I just had a bug when I couldn't just add new things. Now I can add new things. Whew. Okay, finish all rotations. Yeah, call that shit on everything. And will we get a new thingy going on? Is it correct? It is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, everything is connected. Rightfully so. Doing it any other debug print, I don't need it. Propeller, no, no, no. Play cues, no. I guess all of that shit has been copied. And if we are lucky, we just created, or should I say, taken the rotation from the propeller, rotation functionality from propeller to like generalized component that has some visual component to it, and we will see if it will work. We don't have timeline animation, so but that's okay. And the way we will see if did it work is by, I didn't change anything in here, by attaching it to like, I don't know, we'll create like a test actor quickly. What time is it? Oh shit, I have to finish soon. No, no, no. Okay, like blueprint class, BP rotator test actor. We'll quickly see if it even freaking works. It will be like, I don't know, let's add like a cube to it, and yeah, class defaults, let's add a cube to it as well. And can I select the material here? No. Huh, that's weird. But okay. Yeah, so there will be this cube, but it will be, let's say, like that, like this type of wall. Now, BP rotator cube base will be added here, attach. It will be just blue because of z-axis. It will be a quarter of that scale, or maybe even less. Let's add it on top of that. It doesn't have to look great. I will create a specific mesh for it later. But what I wanted to check to add here is what the hell? It's supposed to have targeted scene component as a variable. Targeted scene component, yes, okay. And I'm supposed to have it as, oh, I cannot select it like this? Oh, I know how to do it from C++, but from Blueprint, I'm not sure how can I expose that from within the actor. Oh, whoa, 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 mamma mia. To quickly fix that, I can do searching by tags. So for example, I can add a tag to it, component tag, and add it like rotator target. And the way I could do it is on begin play of rotator cube base, which I don't have really. Begin play. I can get like owner actor. That shit I can delete. Get owner. Get owner actor. Get all that components by tag. I can try to find rotator target, and if of course there is at least one found, then that's the only one that interests me. It's not the best you know, like thing to do, but the best way of going about it is just like right now I'm trying to do it quickly because I need to finish soon, and I don't want to finish on unresolved thing, or at least like an unresolved or without any like proper question, right? So when you have that, you just get, no, I want to get a reference. Ref. What in the holy mother of everything? I want to get, why a copy? I want to get a reference to this. Ah, because those are object references. Okay. And then set this with this. Wait, hold on. Oh my god. No. Cast to scene component. And if it can be cast to scene component, then this is the thing that I'm rotating, right? Okay. And of course, we need to add one check, not to crash our engine. Is valid. If our targeted scene component is valid, that's when we even want to start, you know, doing anything. And now inside of the rotator cube, it will be trying to find things with that exact tag, rotator target. Yeah. Let me just paste it to be sure that it is, you know, correct tags, and let's try it out before I go crazy because of time. Shit. And maybe I could also place it on a level if I want to test it. Yeah, like let's see if it even works. All right. And it doesn't. Woohoo! That's great. And I do wonder why. I have a guess that it probably tick is disabled in here. No, it actually is enabled. So I have no idea why. Does it have collision? Yes, it does. So I have to go into here and see if we even set the target scene component. And do we even rotate at all? Do we even register this event? Maybe you cannot, you know, or there's a different way to go about adding blueprint interface to component. Okay, we have a targeted scene component, our static mesh, that's great. And I'm hitting it and nothing is happening. My arrow on hit confirmed is not triggered. So at least we can end on a question that I will try to answer on the next stream. And the question is, why the fuck this is not... I'm stupid. I know why it's not really being called. The same way... Although... Wait, I know. I'm calling on arrowhead confirmed on the actor. But I also should call it on the component. So I need to add another sequence in the arrow. We will fix it in a quick second. And let's put the reroute node in here. Let's put in the component in here. And on target, on arrowhead confirm, right? Because we need to call it on the actual target, put in the arrow, on the component as well, not only on actors. And yeah, and I think we fixed that. Of course, there might be like a ton of different other problems, but I think we fixed it. And now let's shoot at it. Yep, we fixed the shot, and it should rotate. I hope. I really hope. Add local rotation gets called. And it worked. Woo! We're finishing the stream with the quick, you know, taking out the portion of the one actor gameplay element and creating a generalized version of it. We created some version of it where we can add just a cube to anything and start rotating it, which means, for example, I could add it to, you know, like this window actor and make player also rotate it. Yeah, because maybe the puzzle will be that you need to rotate the whole door because it contains the room that it is connected to contains the spawner of the fire bubbles, and that way you will be able to produce a fire bubble. But yeah, I created a generalized component. There are questions to be asked, like for example, how to properly animate it and how to actually point to a specific scene component inside of the bigger actor instead of like going by tags. But going by tags is not that bad. And of course we have this element of gameplay added here. We answered a lot of questions today. I'm quite happy with what we were able to do, like small elements of gameplay, nothing too spectacular at all. Right? We generalized one functionality into component instead of it being part only of a propeller. Yeah. So on the next stream, I think it is most probably I will be getting into animating things in the editor. We will see how far we can go with that. And yeah, oh, we also discovered that even though we have wave editor in the Unreal Engine, it cannot reverse the waveform. I had to jump into Audacity, which is not something that I like, but I'm sure they will add it at some point. Okay, I think that's me for today. Next stream most probably will be oh, Barabbas sent a link for on the Discord. Let me once again get the Discord link when we are sharing sometimes stuff. Where the hell is the chat? Oh damn, something got fucked up. I didn't show your questions in the restream chat. Fuck, sorry. I didn't see it. Let me read it quickly. For some reason they weren't really showing up for me. Barabbas says, from the gameplay point, I really enjoyed the mechanic that I've mentioned the most, as it was on. Check Mea Culpa Sword, because it's that weapon gimmick. Okay. You sent the link already, so that's okay. Dexterovsky said, I've checked on my end and I cannot rename it also. The timeline component variable. That's great. Dexterovsky says, make a soft reference, then you can rename it. Okay, glad to get that answer. Or make it a soft pointer name as you want, and then bring it back to hard pointer. Yeah, this would actually work too, but I also maybe don't want to use timeline components anymore, and it's time to learn how to animate an engine, I think. Sorry for not reading it previously. For some reason, it fucked up on my end and didn't show anything that much. Let me quickly open the ability that Barabbas was talking about. Ah, something like that. Okay. That is interesting. So it sends like a projectile, and at any instant you can be like, okay, swap me, teleport me to that place. That looks real cool. And I love the art style of this game. And you can point it upwards, right? And thanks to that, you can cross the barriers that will probably hit you. Okay, okay. Understood, bro. Understood. It might come in handy. But in 2D space, it actually, you can see where you're going. If we are going in the TPP perspective or FPP, would we be able to see it in that way? Maybe, but it's, you know, like an interesting point of inspiration. Thank you, Barabash, for that. I will be thinking for sure. And I have to end today's stream. Once again, sorry for not reading the chat properly. My last message was about the art style, and it wasn't showing anything at all until I, you know, submitted the Discord link. So, mea culpa. No pun intended. Barabar says, and yeah, and what's fun is that normally this projectile have cooldown, but when you successfully teleport, it resets the cooldown. Oh, and it also resets the air dash and double jump. Okay, so it really connects well with the movement capabilities in this game. That's nice. That's nice. Okay, most probably the next stream on my end. Let me take a quick peek into calendar, because I am going on vacation soon, but oh, motherfucking Windows calendar. Yeah, on 27th I will be able to stream, and I think this stream will be about animating inside of the Unreal Engine. We'll see. I will try to do some animations, and then I might jump back to like reanimating everything via that and all those prototypes that I made, and you know, and we will implement something else. And I think I'm nearing the moment where I have enough toys in my toy box where I could start to create an actual level with a goal, with some incentives, with like way to teach the player how to use certain elements within the game. I think I'm nearing that kind of moment. So this is also something to look forward in the future. So, without further ado, this stupid pun is always fucking funny. Without further ado, I'm out, and I hope you guys have a nice rest of the day and a nice rest of the week. So, see you next Sunday. Bye bye, guys.